I-31 male and sterile. Fiancé 27 female miraculously got pregnant. Baby looks nothing like me. How do I address this? We had been trying to have a baby for a few years. Eventually we found out I was sterile. We accepted it and decided to hold off on trying so hard and said that we would figure out what I do in the future. Although we weren't trying. We were continuing to have sex obviously. One day she missed her period and we found out he was pregnant. I was so happy and I thought it was amazing. We joked about how as soon as we stopped trying she ends up pregnant. The doctor said that it was a miracle baby. The night that the baby was born I couldn't be happier. I was just happy to finally have a baby and so excited to take her home. After a few days of taking care of her, I couldn't help but notice that she was extremely pale. For reference, I am black and she is white. I figure she would eventually darken a little and I didn't want to overthink it. Then our friends came over and while the girls were inside we were out back drinking. They all mentioned that they didn't want to worry me or to cause drama but asked if I ever thought my fiancé would cheat on me. I thought I was very weird and then I knew exactly where they were going with it. I said no and we talked about our concerns with the baby's skin tone. However, I still tried to brush it off thinking that the baby would get darker after a while. Now the baby is 5 months and I can't help but question if she's mine every day. She has very fine hair. No kinks or curls. Just bone straight hair. I know she's a baby but I have been around plenty of babies who still have natural curls. She is also still very pale. The thing that's been bothering me the most is that every day she looks more and more Asian in the eyes. I don't mean to offend anyone at all but her eyes are just very stretched. They look nothing like mine. Is it wrong for me to be questioning my fiancé when this would have never crossed my mind before? Am I just being paranoid? How do I go about addressing this? Do I even say anything? My biggest fear is that the baby is somehow mine and she will be extremely hurt that I accused her of sleeping with someone else. I just don't know what to do. Please help me. Too long didn't read fiancé having our miracle baby after I had been confirmed to be sterile. Baby looks nothing like me. I don't want to look like an ass but I feel I need to address this. What do I do? Update. I don't even know where to start. Part of the reason I didn't update right away was because my thoughts have been all over the place as of late. I have been making major adjustments and dealing with a lot. My daughter is not actually mine. While it was incredibly hard to get through at first, I think that a small part of me was already mentally prepared for it. I just had a feeling. I hoped it wasn't true and I convinced myself that I was doing this just to rid my anxiety but I think deep down I knew. I took a lot of the advice given and I thought about it for a few days. After deciding how I was going to approach the conversation I asked my fiancé to drop the baby off at her mother's house so we could have a night to ourselves. I made dinner and then tried to talk about things that we had been going through recently and how our lives had changed since having the baby. I explained that I had been having bad anxiety and that I believed that it was partially caused by becoming a new parent but also the fact that I was sterile 1 minute and then told we were having a baby the next. Right away she saw where I was going with that and she did get a bit defensive. She continued to tell me that miracles happen and that she couldn't believe I didn't trust her. I explained that I saw exactly where she was coming from but asked that she saw it from point of view as well. We argued and she refused to do the test. I told her it was fine and that I would leave it alone. I wanted to leave it alone but she kept bringing it up all night even after I had apologized and said that I wouldn't bring it up again. She kept telling me that she couldn't believe I would think of her that way and that I should just be happy that we have a beautiful healthy daughter instead of trying to accuse her of cheating. That's when I started to question her. Something just didn't feel right and I knew I had to do the test regardless. I did the test the next day and waited a few days. By the end of the week I found out that she wasn't mine. I cried for about 2 days straight. I just couldn't handle it and I had no idea what I was going to do. I tried to spend as little time in the house as I could because I knew she would see something was wrong right away. I struggled with figuring out how I would let her know that I knew. I also contemplated whether or not I should say anything because I knew that this would change things with my daughter. I finally decided to just tell her. Of course she denied it and said that the test was wrong and that I need to just drop it. I explained that the clinic said there was no way this could be an error. She continued to deny it and I just couldn't believe that she would still lie to me straight to my face. She threatened to leave and take the baby even though she has nowhere to go seeing as her own mother doesn't want to get involved. We've been pretty much ignoring each other when we're not dealing with the baby. She said that she will be out in 2 months and I'm glad. My concern right now is whether or not she has the right to take the baby. I love my daughter more than anything but I refuse to stay with this woman. I know the baby is not my blood but if I'm on the birth certificate does that help? I at least want to have shared custody. I bring on over half of the income of provide everything for the baby. There is no way that she could take care of the baby without me. She will not be able to afford it. I know there's probably no way possible for me to get some custody but is it pointless to fight for shared? I can't lose my daughter. As much as I hate what my fiancé did, I don't even hate her. I can't explain how hard it is having to deal with losing someone I love so much but also knowing that they would do something so terrible. It's hard enough having to end this with her but I don't think I can handle not seeing my daughter anymore either. Please help with any advice as far as how I can fight for shared custody, if that's even possible given the circumstances. Too long didn't read. My daughter is not my blood. I don't know how to move forward. I don't want to lost my daughter regardless of the circumstances. Edit forever. Person that feels the need to comment rude things like she is not your daughter. Please stop wasting your time. I am aware that she is not my blood. That does not take away from the fact that I have been the one taking care of her since she was born. I have been the one changing her diapers, feeding her, etc. It baffles me that some of you don't have the decency to understand that after creating this bond with her, I refuse to say she's not my daughter now. I know that this is Reddit and that I am probably asking a lot of some of you, but seriously, how hard is it to just be decent person? Halsey the singer is half black and half white, yet does not look more than 2 drops black. Second story. Just found out my girlfriend, 26, female of 6 years, was cheating on me while I'm 30, male, spending the holidays with her and her mother-in-law. My girlfriend and I have been in a serious relationship for 6 years. And we started doing long distance relationship about 1.5 years ago due to both of us being in graduate schools. Things had been fine until 5 months ago when I found out she was using a subscription dating app. I was disappointed and broke up with her. But we eventually got back together because she convinced me that she didn't go on any dates with anyone on the app. I believed her because I know that she is a very traditional girl and she lives with her mother-in-law. After we got back together, I felt that our relationship wasn't what it used to be, and I often felt neglected by her. She would spend a lot of time texting even when we are FaceTiming at night. She told me she texting her girlfriends and I believed her. I went to celebrate the holidays with her mother-in-law this winter break, and she was on her phone a bunch as usual. But I noticed that she wouldn't let me look at her phone and acting suspicious a lot of the time. She also told me she's going on a ski trip with a guy friend in March, but dodged questions when I asked for details of the guy. Finally, I've had it and looked through her FB messages, and I found conversations of her flirting with another guy for the past months. I confronted her about my findings and she admitted to having a crush on the other guy for months, but nothing happened. Just flirting on the internet. Plus the guy did not quite reciprocate the feelings, but upon further questioning, she told me that she actually met up with that guy 2 weeks ago when she came to my city to visit me. The guy lives in the state I'm going to graduate school in. She told me that they only kissed that night. I asked her to show me her texts and FB messages, but she refused for several hours before letting me look through them. I found out that she's been texting and flirting with him the whole time we've been spending the holidays together, and she changed his name to a female name so I wouldn't be suspicious. She also didn't tell him that we were a couple again and still refers to me as her ex. She was apologetic when I confronted her and I made her cancel the ski trip and cease communication with him. She reassured me that nothing will happen since he lives in my state far away from her and that he's not interested in a relationship anyway. I feel so hurt right now and can't fall asleep. She's my first girlfriend and I love her so much. Her mother-in-law treats me like another son. But the logical side of me knows that I cannot trust her anymore. I have to stay with her until Saturday and I don't know what to do. Too long didn't read long term. Currently long distance girlfriend flirted with another guy via text and FB for months, even during the holidays when I'm visiting her. She met with him once when she came to my city to visit me and they kissed. Update. Thanks for all of the supportive comments and thank you for those that shared their mother-in-law experiences. Maybe I'm an idiot for missing all of the red flags, but hope is a hell of a drug. We talked again this morning and decided breaking up was the best thing to do. It was an amicable breakup and we talked about what went right and what went wrong in our relationship other than the part where she cheated on me. She pretty much said she didn't feel appreciated by me, and she lost her feelings for me after our initial breakup. We both agreed that she was wrong and that she should have broken up with me properly before trying to start a new relationship. She feels ashamed of what she did. I will still stay until Saturday because flight tickets are crazy expensive right now and not economically feasible for me to fly home. But we will definitely be breaking up after this incident. Being separated by thousands of mother-in-laws and a jam-packed curriculum from school will hopefully make this breakup a bit easier. Thank you everybody for your input. Third story. I 34M just caught my wife 32F cheating on me for the second time in 12 years. It's divorce my only option. We've been married for 4 years. Together for 8 before that. When we were 3 years into our relationship, I found out that she was having lunch days with another guy. They were romantic in nature, but I'm not sure how far physically they went. We split for a couple of months at the time, so that she could figure out what she wanted. We got back together, and everything in my mind was going well until last night. I was under suspicion that she was seeing another guy for a while. I even came on here once and asked for help, but I had my finger pointed at the wrong guy. When it came out that she wasn't seeing him, I got blasted by Reddit. Post was deleted. This was 8-ish months ago. Last night on a whim I checked our log of text messages because I noticed that when I'd wake up at night, she would be getting messages on her phone. Sight enough. She was talking to another guy, sending pictures, sexting, complaining about me, the whole nine. She said that they met for lunch once, been shown this road before, and that they've only kissed. Yeah, right. Our marriage had been tough the last couple of years. We have 3 kids, 13 female, 10 female and 4 male. Our 4-year-old has slept in our bed for the last 2 years, and has effectively made it a dead bedroom. We have sex, if you call it that. No foreplay. Her take my pants off and do your thing but don't kiss me. About once every 2 months. Divorce runs deep in my mother-in-law, dad on his 5th marriage. My brother just ended his, 2 aunts on their 4th and 5th as well. And I prided myself on being the one that was going to make it. I make 4 to 5 times what my wife does. Last night she was begging me not to leave her. And in the back of my mind it's because I feel that she knows that she would be financially ruined. Is divorce my only option at this point? Fool me once, shame on her. Fool me twice, shame on me. Edit. I want to thank all of you. Each of you have taken the time to weigh in on what I should do. With Reddit's anonymity, you guys don't know me. You don't have an ulterior motive in what advice you gave throughout all of this. I keep thinking about someone I ran into a few months back. She was a foreign national from Armenia and a recent widow. Her and her husband were married 30 plus years. Her brother was visiting from Armenia, and while she was at work, he and her husband went down to one of the local beaches with their daughter. He was talking to his brother-in-law about how amazing the US was, and how he got to enjoy beaches like this whenever he wanted to. The US was the land of opportunity. The man up and had a heart attack. The daughter dialed 911. The brother-in-law dialed his sister. She told me that she sat on the phone with him talking him through his dying breaths. She said that in her marriage, they had their fair share of ups and downs. It's all bullshit. Don't give up on each other. Everything can be fixed if you want it to be. She was sobbing so hard in my office while she was telling me her story. I felt so bad for her. I also envied her unconditional love. I don't know if it is the right decision or not, but I am going to stay with my wife and try to work towards us again. I know that it isn't going to be an easy road. I have to try. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.